Hey, I'm Melanie Trailer. I am finishing up my Carolina Mingle quilt. Okay, so here we are. So I've shown a bunch of videos so far about this quilt, and I believe the last one was the free motion quilting. So just to kind of give you a look at that finished free motion quilting, looking like that. And I had a really hard time picking out binding. In my head, before this was finished, I was gonna go with Kona Gold. Well, not Kona Gold, I'm sorry, Kona Spice. And it was kind of a red, kind of like that, maybe a little bit lighter. And I thought that it was gonna be just a really great solid to go with. But it turns out we don't have any in stock. So I've had to scramble to find something else, and it took me a really long time to choose. But in the end, I kind of just went with Pure Bewitched, and I really did not want to use purple. I wanted to either use the red or the coral. I have a lot of purple quilts, but this is what we're going with. So there is my binding for this quilt. And right now I need to get it labeled before I can actually start binding it. So I'm gonna let you look at the label, and I'm gonna let you watch me put it on, and then we'll get it bound, and then we'll get it we'll get our thread chosen for the stitches. Okay, so let me show you the label that I designed for Carolina Mingle. I really like the design of this one. I like the big year. We have these for sale in the shop, not just for Carolina Mingle. We have a lot of just labels that you can personalize. And I have a lot of labels that are for very specific quilt patterns. But all of these can be personalized and reworded and, you know, recolored to be perfect for your quilt. But I got myself two of these labels, so I'm hoping to finish another one before the year's out. Not sure that I can, but that's the plan. All right, I like to put the labels on the left corner of the quilt. So this is my left bottom corner. I just flip it this way. And then I'm gonna put my label, you know, right here. And just in case you've never seen my labels before, this is a folded edge, and these are, you know, left raw. But when you put them here, and these edges get caught in your binding, so you end up with this really nice finished label. You know, that just kind of preserves when the quilt was made, who the quilt was made by. I have, as you probably know, because I talk about it all the time, I have a whole bunch of quilts from my grandmother and my great-grandmother, and I don't know anything about them. I know a few things about them, but I don't know much other than, you know, who made them. So it would have been nice to have a little bit more information, and that is exactly the reason why I am so into labeling each and every quilt that I finish. All right, so let's talk supplies. I'm using MICROQUILTER thread. The reason that I like this thread so much is it's really thin. I use it for pretty much every single thing I applique, and it just disappears. It's so thin, it disappears. And because I'm using such a thin thread, I need a thin needle. So that's what this one is about. It is a milliner's needle, really tiny eye. And my favorite thimble, it's the one by Clover. We have all these supplies in the shop. All right, so I'm just going to pin this label down. There's a whole bunch of ways to go about sewing on your label. So, you know, you definitely want to choose the one that you like the best. And I've got a video that shows like 2 or 3 different ways of doing that. But this one tends to be my go-to, and it's just like the disappearing stitch. So about an arm's length of thread. I probably won't need that much. All right. Let's get my thread loaded onto my needle. All right. And I don't tie a knot or anything like that. I'm just going to, well, I'm gonna move this stuff out of my way. All right, and then I'm just going to pick this up. I'm gonna slip the needle right into where I know the binding is gonna cover it. So kind of like right there. And then I'm not gonna pull it all the way through, of course. I'm gonna grab it with my fingers, and then I'm gonna put it right back through that same place or thereabouts again. And then I'm gonna make that circle, I'm sure you see it, and then I'm gonna put my needle through it and knot it off. And I'm still holding this end right here. Then I'm gonna do that again. And if you ever try this and you feel a little clumsy, keep going, because the clumsiness will leave you, I promise. The more you do it, the better you get. All right, so now I'm knotted in, and I didn't have to, you know, make a knot or anything like that. All right, here we go. I'm putting my needle in right there, right past where I came in at, right? I'm going into the backing fabric. I'm going into maybe a little bit of the batting, but I'm not going through the front of the quilt top, and that's important if you want these stitches to disappear. And then I'm gonna pop my needle out right there at the edge. Pull it tight. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. So right there, and then push out. So that is 2 stitches there. Okay, so I like to tie off the same way I tied on. And I've got like that left. So I'll just push this down with my finger, slip my needle in, and let it come out the side of the quilt. And then pull it through once real tight, and then put it right back through. Make that circle and put my needle through the circle. And pull, and then do the exact same thing again. So just like that. Okay, and then just cut, and then I can throw away this excess thread and then push these out, and boom, we have our label. I'm all bound. Didn't take long, but here's what the end look is gonna look like. It'll be folded down this way. That'll be the front of my quilt. This will be the back, and I like to do the chunky thread stitch binding method where, you know, it has those stitches. I have talked about that a whole bunch, so if you're new here, just go and search chunky thread stitch. So anyway, what I need to do now is pick out a thread color, and I don't think I have anything in my personal stash, so I'm gonna go and look in the shop's stash. And I had bought this one specifically for this quilt. I mean, right? So super close, and it will have plenty of contrast, you know, on this binding. But I did want to just double check, because I had also thought, oh, this one too. I thought this one might be a really good one as well. Actually, this one might be the one that I bought. I mean, that's really close. Actually, I might be going with this one. Wait a minute. And then I wanted to just check the reds, because I had this shade of red. This is 355, and it would look really, really good too, and offer, you know, a color difference. So I'm gonna put this one back. I don't think I'm gonna go with that one, although I do love it. I don't think that's the one I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with one of these. I wish you were here with me, and and I could ask you which one you would choose. But this is the one that I had bought. We added this one to the shop specifically for Sunset Serenade. But now that this one's out here, I mean, I really like that one too. I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to go with the red. So I'm going to put this one up. So we have, you know, 65 colors of this if you are interested in it. And, you know, all the supplies. We have the chunky binding kits that come with everything you need to bind your quilt using the chunky stitch method. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to put the links all below this video. All right, so I'm going to go with the 355 thread. Indecision on every quilt. That's basically my life. Every quilt, there's this constant, am I picking the right thread? Am I picking the right fabrics? Am I picking, you know, how do I quilt it? That is a constant in my own quilting life. And I wonder if it's the same for you. So let me know if it is. I'm going to stitch this up in my own time. When I'm doing hand stitches, I usually like to do it in the evenings and watch TV on the sofa. And it usually takes me around 3 evenings, 2-ish hours each session. And then for a quilt this size. So this is a 72 by 72. So I expected to have it done by next week. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Links to everything that we've talked about, products, patterns, fabrics, everything is right below this video. I will see you next time.